Okay, so the real estate industry and quite honestly, the housing market got a big hit last week. As you're watching this, it's the beginning of November 2023. And the end of October, there was a lawsuit, class action lawsuit filed in the state of Missouri against the National Association of Realtors. And so I had a lot of questions about this. Like, what does this mean? Even though I've had people watch this on the news, this topic about the lawsuit rocking the housing market, rocking real estate agents, and the clock is ticking, right? All these scary headlines, which don't really mean anything, because again, this was a class action lawsuit that was filed on a state level and not national. However, it is making news, and so I figured I would share with you what this means in layman's terms. So first off, what is the NAR? In a lot of my videos, I mentioned the NAR as an association, which by the way, it's the National Association of Realtors, and they represent realtors, not just regular real estate agents. They represent higher level real estate agents who are upheld to a higher code of ethics. And so they actually advocate for policies, right, that help buyers, sellers, and agents. It fosters a vibrant real estate market, if you will. Now, it supports the industry, protects consumers, like I just mentioned. But they're a strong force. They are kind of like the NRA for guns, right? And if you're anti-gun, I'm sorry, I'm just making an example of how they actually represent agents on the political side, as well as and enforce policies that help the real estate industry as a whole. So why did they get sued, right, if they're so great? Well, you have attorneys, in this case, the case of Burnett versus the NAR, National Association of Realtors. The jury found that NAR and the co-defendants, which were other major real estate brokerages, I'm not going to name their names, but you can actually find that out online. But the plaintiffs claimed that real estate commission rates are too high, and that buyer brokers are paid too much, and that the rules set in place by NAR are not conducive with having effective pricing. And so what that means is the lawsuit, right, I guess it's the plaintiffs, claim that also too that the buyer agent who represents the buyers and the seller's agent who represents the sellers are colluding together, right, to inflate the home price and to actually inflate commissions and all this fun stuff, which my personal opinion is it's not true. I've never seen that. I've seen buyer's agents, including myself, who want to represent their buyer in the best capacity, and therefore they negotiate for the best price, and both parties come to a resolution that they feel is fair. Okay, it's called negotiation. Okay, so I don't feel that there's any colluding going on. So what does this lawsuit mean for home buyers? Well, I put together a few things here. So first off, home buyers, in the worst case scenario, if this does go national and all that, home buyers could be faced with paying the buyer's agent when looking at homes, when going out and looking at homes. And so they may be faced with actually paying that instead of the seller. The seller, by the way, typically pays for both agents' commissions. And that's where it's kind of like, well, that the plaintiffs in this case are stating, well, that's not fair, and that's driving up things, which again, I don't feel is true. Okay. Now the buyer may have to actually finance that fee or pay it at closing, but they may have to actually look at financing the buyer agent's commission. Again, this is worst case, right? This is if this goes crazy and goes national and actually rocks the industry. This could happen where, hey, a home buyer has to get with their lender and say, can I roll that into my loan? So that could happen if the lenders allow that, which they would probably be forced to if this happens. So more transparency as well from buyers agents in regards to agent compensation. Transparency is key. When I work with buyers and sellers, I provide transparency on everything, and every agent should be doing this. Every realtor should be doing this. Make it clear to the client, hey, this is what is going on, and this is how much it costs to buy or sell a home. Which right now, typically home buyers don't pay a buyer's agent. Some buyer's agents have a broker retainer fee, which is a garbage fee, by the way. Don't ever pay that if you're a home buyer. I don't charge that because it's a junk fee. but typically they don't pay the buyer's agent commission. So this could actually change that. So what does this lawsuit mean for home sellers? Well, these headlines are saying that this is a big win. Yes, some home sellers will get a little bit of this. If it gets that far where they actually have to pay, they did lose the verdict. National Association of Realtors did lose the verdict. However, they are appealing. And so I don't believe that they pay out anything until that goes through, which again could take several years. But home sellers could be more aware of the ability to negotiate agent commissions. Now, I want to talk with this briefly about how if you discount a real estate agent, right, a realtor, chances are you're not going to get that full service that you expect. Now, there are some cases where you will. And I know that sounds bad, but that's just the way it is with human behavior, okay? So what happens is the seller says, okay, you know what, maybe we can negotiate how much you charge me and I'll give you my business. Which there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. It just depends on what you're doing and what you want the agent to do. If you want full service where they're doing everything they can in their power to sell your home, that's great. If you want to get a discounted service, many agents that I know will offer you a discounted service. Okay, so don't expect the full service from an agent, okay, especially a strong agent. Weak agents, by the way, and this sounds harsh, but it's true. Weaker agents typically don't know how to negotiate, and they'll probably wreck your deal if you hire them, but they will also do a discounted service. So just know that discounted agents are not the best way to go, quite honestly. However, home sellers, the next one, could be off the hook for paying agent commissions to the buyer's agent. So typically a home seller pays for the buyer's agent's commissions as well as the seller's. It's expected. It's been like that for, I don't know, 100 years, 100 plus years. So basically, you could see the seller being off the hook for paying the buyer's agent commission, which I mentioned that about the home buyer, how the home buyer, worst case scenario, could be on the hook for paying the agent's commission. And then again, more transparency. There should be transparency. I mean, this part I don't get, because there should be transparency from a seller's agent representing a home seller, right? Matter of fact, there's one sheet, a one-page sheet that I give out that says seller's net out. And I say, okay, if we sell your home at this price, here's your costs, and here's what you could walk away with. And it's an estimate, but it's pretty close. Now that is most of those fees are based on percentages. So if your house sells for more, you pay more. If you sell for less, guess what? You pay less, okay? But it gives them an idea. Every seller should have this form. And if you're an agent watching this and you're not providing that form to your seller, you are doing a huge disservice, or you're afraid that they're gonna find out right before they sign. Let the seller know, this is a seller's net out sheet. This is what you can expect to pay if your house sells for X amount. Give that form to them, no matter what. Transparency. But a lot of people are online and all this stuff, all of these things that I watch, they're stating that, oh, this could lead to more transparency. Well, everything should be transparent right now, not because of a lawsuit, okay? So what does this lawsuit mean for real estate agents? Well, more disclosure. You have to disclose. You have to disclose. That's such an important thing, which again should be in place anyways. Now, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately for the stronger agents, more agents will leave the industry. Right now, with the housing market, the inventory being low and all this, and the interest rates high, many agents were already leaving the industry. Again, the weaker ones. This is just going to fuel that. It's going to push more weaker agents. And I say weaker, not to be rude, but agents that just were barely holding on, they're going to fall off the ship. They're going to go into something else. They're going to do whatever, okay? Because when things are great in the real estate industry, in the housing market, so many people become agents and thinking they're going to get that quick buck, and they don't realize that, it's a lot of work, okay? Now, unfortunately, many real estate brokerages, and this is already happening, by the way, many real estate agents, brokers, or their bosses, I guess. I don't want to say boss because we're self-employed, but many agents, brokers are going to require the agent to withdraw membership from the National Association of Realtors just because they're upset, right? They don't want to be associated with someone who lost a lawsuit. It's crazy. but that will happen. And as an agent, you could see an increase in your association fees. That will probably happen. You lose a lawsuit, any company loses a lawsuit, and guess what happens? Prices go up. Because how do you think they're going to pay for that? They're not going to just eat that cost if they have to pay that. So some key takeaways, okay? The National Association of Realtors is appealing this case with a strong chance of winning. However, it could take several years. And there's many, I'm not going to get into this part, but many industry experts feel that they have a strong chance of winning their appeal. This is a court case that was won on a state level. It was in Missouri, I believe. So not much will happen right away nationally regarding this case. Although the little things, some of these things that I mentioned, like you may see an increase in association fees, more transparency, which I think that part is a great thing. And then chances are more weak agents will leave the industry. That's a key takeaway. And the last one is, agent commissions have always been negotiable and they've always been transparent. I mean, it's right in the paperwork that you sign. If an agent's not doing a good job explaining that paperwork, then it's on the seller and the buyer to know what you're signing, right? Hey, what am I signing here? Can you explain this line item by line item? There's nothing wrong with that. I've taken a lot of time to explain the forms that I have my clients sign because I want them to understand. I don't just say sign here, sign there. Hey, let's walk through this because this is a big deal. So those are just some key takeaways. I would love to read your thoughts in the comments about this. Go ahead and share that below. Just what do you think about this? Do you feel it's going to change? If you're an agent watching this, what are your thoughts on this NAR lawsuit? Anyway, I hope you found this video valuable and I appreciate you watching.